you know, my father has always sort of subtly been there throughout my career to never tell me what to do as an actor. I mean, I've oftentimes not listened to his advice whatsoever, but there have been times where he said to me, look, you know, I know you're getting offered these sort of traditional roles here, this is a studio film, but you might want to take a look at this guy in history, and there's a script that came along, it's about Arthur Rimbaud. This was an incredibly radical poet at this time, was an artistic movement in France, and he was kind of the James Dean of his generation in the world of poetry, and you know, I know some of these scenes seem a little uncomfortable to you, but that was the world he lived in, and that was who he was, and so that gentle sort of guidance at a young age kind of, I think, steered me away from a lot of the stuff that I was being offered at the time, and I'm very thankful for that. But yeah, it was to do some of those sequences were you know, they were challenging at a young age to wrap my head around. But I think I always just said to myself, look, this is who the character is, and if I bring my own personality or my own you know, attitude or thought process into manipulating this character, I'm doing a disservice to it. I have to just do and be this person to the best of my ability.
I love the film, by the way, and it's Rambo, not Rambo. Nothing to do with that.
Rambo.
Yeah, Rambo. Have you seen Total Eclipse?
Not many people have.
David Thewlis, I think one of the greatest British actors of all time, and Leonardo with him in that film. Spectacular.
I think it made about 6,000 or 7,000 at the box office.
Thought it was a work of art. And you got to go to places you hadn't been to before. 1997, another low-budget movie, no audience, with Kate Winslet, Titanic. And what has not been asked about that film? What do we not know about that, Leo? Is there anything you can share with your friends here at ILM, a scene or a moment while filming that?
I mean, there's a lot of stuff to talk about. Gosh, I mean, I remember showing up even before we were on set, and you know, you gotta understand, this film was an experiment for both Kate Winslet and myself. I met her in Cannes, and we sort of hit it off, and we became friends, and this movie came around for both of us, and we'd done only independent movies up until that point, so we're both sort of skeptical and scared to enter into this gigantic world that was, you know, the sinking of the Titanic with this monstrous budget. But we started meeting with Jim, and he kept on, you know, talking to us about the story and the love story and the relationship between us. But even before we ended up on set, I mean, I heard the sort of chaos was already apparent. The entire crew, I heard, was drugged. And they started doing in the stuff that was modern day, when they were resurrecting the Titanic. That stuff had already been filmed before we ever stepped foot on set, and the entire crew was, I suppose, I heard the seafood chowder was drugged, and everyone started doing the conga line on the ship, and it became this insane sort of you know, day of chaos. And so then this movie started that went on months and months and months. I mean, Kate was there for almost a year. I was there for 9 months in Mexico. And every week, you know, we would just get calls about, you know, the new Variety or Hollywood Reporter cover that was saying this is going to be the biggest disaster of all time. The budget is inflated. You know, Jim Cameron keeps dumping more money into it. You know, Paramount and Fox have now joined. This is going to be the biggest Hollywood catastrophe ever. And of course, it became this sort of insanely well-received film around the world.
A Titanic success, not a flop, as it said. Yeah.
Yes.
Kate Winslet, what can you tell us about Kate?